The name Ron DeSantis is known nationwide, but how did he go from hometown Florida guy to presidential candidate? West 2 Summer Knowles takes a closer look at his meteoric rise.
Taking the oath of office as the 46th governor of Florida, Mr. Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis, Florida's youngest governor in a century, sworn in January of 2019.
The duties of governor.
The duties of governor.
On which I am now about to enter.
On which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
The Florida native was born in Jacksonville, then moved to Orlando with his family before relocating when he was 6 to Dunedin in the Tampa Bay area. The descendant of Italian immigrants, his mother worked as a nurse, and his father installed Nielsen TV rating boxes for a living.
Steel isn't forged overnight.
This political ad, already airing in key early primary states, touts his blue-collar roots.
Grandson of a steel worker, Ron DeSantis worked his way through college.
DeSantis graduated from Yale University, where he was captain of the varsity baseball team. He went on to graduate from Harvard Law School, and while there, he earned a commission in the U.S. Navy as a JAG officer. After graduating, DeSantis' first active duty assignment was Naval Station Mayport in Northeast Florida. And it was there, on a golf course, he met his future wife, Jill Casey Black, a TV news reporter in Jacksonville. DeSantis recalled their meeting in his 2023 memoir, calling it "my life's most fortuitous moment." Followed up with, "There was no way I was leaving that driving range without asking her on a date." So he did. And after dating a while, DeSantis volunteered for deployment in Iraq, where he would serve as an advisor to a U.S. Navy SEAL commander. Shortly after his return home, he proposed to Casey. And in September of 2009, the couple married at the Walt Disney World Resort. During their first few years of marriage, DeSantis retired from active duty and in 2011 completed his first book entitled Dreams from Our Founding Fathers, First Principles in the Age of Obama. He says it was this book, or the response he received from it while book touring across the state, that led him to run for Congress. After campaigning statewide with Casey by his side, he was elected to Congress in 2012 as U.S. Representative for Florida's 6th District, covering Daytona Beach and Palm Coast. 4 years later, in November of 2016, the couple welcomed their first child. DeSantis served in Congress until 2018, the same year he filed to run for governor to succeed term-limited Republican Rick Scott. In his memoir, he describes it as a long shot, but he had a plan: earn an endorsement from President Donald Trump to improve his name recognition. And it worked. Months later, DeSantis was being sworn in, now a governor and father of 2, their second born, a son named Mason. Then, in 2022, a repeat. DeSantis now a father of 3 with daughter Mamie and a second-term governor.
We made promises to the people of Florida, and we have delivered on those promises.
Summer Knowles, West 2 News.